Thank you very much. May we be seated. The road to success and greatness is always paved with consistent hard work. Our beloved shareholders, it is indeed an honor to have you here today. We thank God Almighty for the journey mercies given each and every one of us to be here. So at this stage, permit me to hand over the microphone to the chairman to continue with proceedings. The chairman, sir. Thank you very much.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the time is 10 a.m. We have already done the national anthem. I would first like to apologize. Sorry. Is this better? I would first like to apologize as there has been formed.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, directors, regulatory officers present, and esteemed shareholders. My name is Sophie Paul, and I represent Coronation Registrars Limited, registrars to Caverton Offshore Support Group PLC. We confirm that at the start of this meeting, we have 206 members physically present.
An opportunity to move or second the motions to put to you the meeting and to make contributions as you may wish. There will therefore be an opportunity for questions on each motion before a vote is taken on it. Please ensure that you raise your hand and receive approval before you speak. Microphones and amplifying equipment have been placed strategically so that everyone should be able to hear. I would therefore request that you speak audibly and commence by stating your names. I would like to inform members that the Registrar of Shareholders is available for inspection during the meeting. Before we proceed to the more formal matters on the agenda, I would like to take this opportunity to introduce to you the directors of your company. I am Auditor Konjola, the chairman. On my left is Mr. Bodema Konjola, the chief executive officer. On my extreme right, still being awaited, is Mr. Akinkekere Ekun, a non-executive director. On my extreme right is Chief Raymond Ihembe, a non-executive director. And next to him is Mr. Bashir Bakari, also a non-executive director. On my near right is Ms. Amaka Obiora, the company secretary. The following non-executive directors have sent their apologies and are indisposed to attend. They will be following the live streaming. Their names are Chief Admon Dakoro, Malambero Gwandu, and Mr. Shola Falola. I would also like to introduce Mr. Akim Shagaya, the chairman of the audit committee. The other shareholders representative on the audit committee are Mr. Tola Atekoja and Mr. Friday Odigwe Ejere. We also have with us a representative of the NGX Limited, Mrs. Antonia Ame. Representative of the Securities and Exchange Commission is Mr. Adewoye Adeyemi. Representative of the Corporate Affairs Commission is Mrs. Fumi Ajewole. Representative of the External Auditors, Pricewaterhouse, is Mr. Edafe Eri. The Registrar, Coronation Securities Registrars Limited, is Mrs. Sophie Paul. I will now call on the Company Secretary to read the notice of the meeting.
Good morning, distinguished shareholders. Notice of the 14th Annual General Meeting. Notice is hereby given that the 14th Annual General Meeting of Caverton Offshore Support Group Limited, PLC, will be held at the Civic Center, Uzumba Mbadiwe Road, Victoria Island, Lagos, Nigeria, on Tuesday, the 27th of June, 2023, at 10 a.m. to transact the following business. Agenda A, ordinary business. To lay before the members the audited financial statements of the company for the year ended 31st December 2022, together with the reports of the directors, auditors, and audit committee thereon. 2, to re-elect the following directors retiring by rotation. 1, Mr. Aderemi Makanjola. 2, Alambello Bwando. 3, Mr. Shola Falola. 3, to authorize directors to fix the remuneration of auditors for the 2023 financial year. 4, to disclose the remuneration of managers of the company. 5, to elect members of the Statutory Audit Committee. Special business. To consider and, if thought fit, pass the following as ordinary resolutions of the company. 6, that the remuneration of directors of the company for the year ending December 31st, 2023 be and is hereby fixed at 2 million for each director and 3 million for the board chairman. 7, to authorize the renewal of reoccurrent transactions which are of trading nature or those necessary for its day-to-day operations from related companies in accordance with the rules of the Nigerian Exchange Limited governing transactions with related parties. 8, that in compliance with the provisions of Section 240 in bracket 2 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020 as amended by the provisions of Section 11, Schedule 1 of the Business Facilitation Act 2022, that shareholders authorize and approve for the company to hold its general meetings electronically, and that the MEMAT of the company be amended accordingly, pursuant to the shareholders' authorization and approval. Notes. A. Thank you, shareholders. Dated this 2nd June 2023, by order of the board, Amaka Pamela Obero.
Do I have your permission to take the chairman's statement as read? Thank you. The CEO's statement is also on page 14 to 17 of the annual report and financial statements. If it is your wish, as done in the previous years, we will take the CEO's statement as read in order to allow for time to entertain and answer your questions of the annual report and financial statement. Yeah, thank you. We will now move to item 1 on the agenda, as I'm sure that you agree you have the report and the accounts of the period ended 31st December 2022 for the required statutory report. I would now like to formally lay before the meeting the annual report and the accounts, including the audited financial statement for the year ended 31st December 2022, together with the reports of the directors, auditors, and the audit committee thereon. I will now ask representative of the auditors to read the report of the auditors.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Distinguished shareholders, Board of Directors, Audit Committee members. Good morning. My name is Ada Ferry, representing PricewaterhouseCoopers. Our report on the financial statement is included on page 39 to 43 of the annual report. With your permission, I'll read the abridged version. Report on the audit of the consolidated and separate financial statement. Our opinion. In our opinion, the consolidated and separate financial statement give a true and fair view of the consolidated and separate financial position of Caverton Offshore Support Group PLC, the company, and its subsidiary together the group, as at 31st December 2022, and of their consolidated and separate financial performance and their consolidated and separate cash flows for the year then ended in accordance with International Financial Reporting Standard and the requirement of the Companies and Allied Matters Act and the Financial Reporting Council of Nigeria Act. What have we audited? Caverton Offshore Support Group PLC consolidated and separate financial statement comprises 1. The consolidated and separate statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income for the year then ended. 2. The consolidated and separate statement of financial position as at 31st December 2022. 3. The consolidated and separate statement of changes in equity for the year then ended. 4. The consolidated and separate statement of cash flow for the year then ended, and the note to the consolidated and separate financial statement, which include a summary of significant accounting policy. Basis for our opinion: we conducted our audit in accordance with international standard on auditing. Our responsibility under those standards are further described. The auditor's responsibility for the audit of the consolidated and separate financial statement section of this report. We believe that the audit evidence we have obtained is sufficient and appropriate to provide a basis for our opinion. I'll go to the last paragraph on page 43. Report on other legal and regulatory requirements. The Companies and Allied Matters Act requires that in carrying out our audits, we consider and report back to you shareholders on the following matter. We therefore confirm that 1, we have obtained all the information and explanation which to the best of our knowledge and belief were necessary for the purpose of our audit. 2, the company has kept proper books of accounts so far as appear from our examination of those books, and return adequate for our audit have been received from location not visited by us. 3, the company's statement of financial position and statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income are in agreement with the books of account and returns. Signed by my humble self on behalf of PwC, dated 9th May 2023. Thank you very much.
In accordance with the provision of Section 359(6) of the Companies and Allied Matters Act, CAMA, Cap 620 LFN 2004, the Audit Committee duly carried out their duties as required on the accounts for the period ended 31st December 2022. I now ask the Chairman of the Audit Committee to read the Audit Committee report.
Good morning, shareholders. In compliance with Section 404, subsection 4 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act, the members of the Audit Committee of Caverton Offshore Support Group, PLC, hereby report as follows. We have exercised our statutory functions under Section 404, subsection 4 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act, and states that the scope and planning of the audits were adequate and in our opinion. We are of the opinion that the accounting and reporting policies of the group conform to the statutory requirements. The internal control and internal audit functions of the group were operated effectively. The external auditor's findings are being dealt with satisfactorily by the management, and we acknowledge that the cooperation of the management and staff in the conduct of our responsibilities. Signed by myself, Hakim Shagaya. Thank you very much.
Sorry, before the chairman comes in, we make a quick observation. If you have any concerns with anything, please feel free to indicate. Any of the Ask Me team members will attend to you. Thank you very much. Chairman, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, every shareholders. The name is Pastor William Adebayo. Mr. Chairman, today, as Africans, we want to show the love and respect we have for our chairman by honoring him, that today we avoid every question and go straight into the resolution. Please, I saw the support of every shareholder. Thank you. Thank you. The love and respect he has for all shareholders, we want to pay him back and honor him. Thank you.
All right, sir, over to you.
Mr. Chairman, sir. Mr. Chairman, good morning. On behalf of all the shareholders at this divide of the hall, I'm suggesting that we have about 2-3 people who are bereaved amongst us, and it is what that we don't ask questions. We just go by the agenda. And not only that, today is a day before the Muslim festival, which is the Ileya, and vehicles will be very hard to get. Therefore, all we want to do as a body, we have agreed among ourselves that questions will not be asked, and it is only agenda and agenda. We will not ask questions. Hey, shareholders, do you agree with me?
Mr. Chairman.
Please wait. Please.
Mr. Chairman, my name is Sas Nwosu. I greet you. I thank God you are not physically challenged. News, we are bereaved, or any other thing that can impede answering questions from shareholders. Last year you were not here, but your son did very well. We are in an AGM which is guided by CAC, and it is very clear that questions must be asked at an AGM. Don't let anybody put you down and make you to look as if you have the sympathy of people. This is an AGM, therefore we will ask questions. So, you cannot agree in isolation of majority or some other people. Chief Chokweju, you cannot agree. This is an AGM. We will ask questions, but we'll be mindful of the questions we are going to ask. For instance, if you look at this annual report, there have been a very serious issues during the year. Therefore, there is no dividend. People should be able to ask questions and ask how they are going to manage the future for us.
Wait, please. With due respect to all members here, with due respect to all our members, the essence of annual general meeting and for our own good as a business is for you to be able to look critically at the annual report, criticize us, advise us, and let us be able to do better. If you don't want you people to be with us, we can go to Wari to say we want to do the meeting. But this is where we've been doing our meeting, and we have been appreciative of your comments, which has guided us. Whatever business is a business of up and down, and we are able to thank God for where we are today, and able to also see some of you. We sympathize with the bereaved, and we will do the needful as time goes on. But please, let's go on. I will be pleased to answer questions which you may have on the report and accounts before we proceed to the next items of business. Are there any questions before the motion is put to the meeting? Yes.
The chairman, very distinguished fellow shareholders, other members of the board. For the records, my name's Nona Awu. Mr. Chairman, I want to say that for me, there are just three major areas I think that require some explanation around. But before I come to those three, don't worry. The first major area that I want you to speak about, because every investment is putting money today and getting benefits tomorrow. If you look at page 45, 95, 85, 82, and 111, I'll repeat. Page 45, 95, 82, and 111. Our biggest challenge, because of the industry that we are in, has to do with funding. And if you look at that page, the pages I mentioned, despite paying 12 billion out of the outstanding debt, we still carry a debt of 32 billion. And with that size of debt, what we have seen in interest expense or interest costs will continue to be a challenge for us. So the question I will want the board, knowing that you have, I don't want to call them ex-bankers on your board, what other funding model can we bring on the table to help us manage this debt and by extension the interest? Because if we don't, what we'll literally be doing is that we'll be crawling in our growth process. So I want you to take some time and talk about our finances, our funding rather, and what other options is available to us. The second major area that is also of interest to me, again following what you have in the annual account, has to do with what you have on page 78. 78, last year we had income from foreign source, which means we provided for companies or organizations outside Nigeria. But in the year under review, nothing is coming in that regard. That then gives me concern, because if we had money to the level in which we had it last year, given the exchange rate, that itself probably will have helped us to do a better year in 2022, which is the account that we're considering. So I will also be asking, what were the challenges in that area, and what is it that you are likely to do differently in 2023, which is already midway into the year, so that itself will give us an understanding of what 2023 will look like. The third major area that is also of concern has to do, especially in the year that you are not paying dividends. If you look at page 134 to 144, you have the list of unclaimed dividend there. Yeah. And then, if you then relate that to the structure of ownership of this organization, as stated on page 27, it is obvious that there is much more that we can do in terms of managing unclaimed dividend. Let me say that I'm happy that the governor of Lagos' name has stopped appearing on the unclaimed dividend. That is one of the things that we saw in the past. Probably because he has become governor, they know the owner. But if we do the same thing for a number of persons on those pages, I'm sure we have unclaimed dividend far lower than what we are doing. So, Madam Company Secretary, I was interested in you clapping for yourself when you were introduced. But that clap will come from some of us much more next year. If you relate with the registrar and make sure that this number is pulled down significantly. Because if we don't pull it down, then you'll be rubbing salt into injury. Because if you call me as a shareholder, oh, Mr. Awo, I saw your name on unclaimed dividend. In a year that you have not paid me dividend, the chances I'm likely to think that the dividends of previous years that you are paying me this year is the dividend for this year. And that may also improve our relationship. So you have a huge responsibility. So I don't know who our investor relation or investor advisor is. Investors relation advisor or officer is, but it's a tax that we must begin to make in 2023. So at come 2024, this number will be far lower, like I mentioned. But having said all of that, Mr. Chairman, I'm also happy as to your approach in making the minority shareholder understand that this business and this meeting is a business meeting. Hence, you're opting that we should ask questions. But what has made you directors is not just your qualification and your experiences. Yes, they are part of it. But our relationship started on the day of your appointment. The whole of this document, you are not consistent as to the day of appointment of directors. And if you're in doubt, look at page 19 to 21. So which means you have also given us half information. So we'll be hoping that that information will be further expanded so that our relationship can also be better. Mr. Chairman, I usually don't like talking about staff pay. But I don't think what I have on page 102 here will be one that will be delight to shareholders if they find the size of jump in the highest paid directors' fees. I don't think they'll be happy, especially having that jump in a year that you are not paying us dividends. It may be interpreted to be the company being insensitive to the plight of shareholders. Because if somebody can get that high, then that also becomes a challenge. I don't want to talk about your inventory because I also know the industry they are in, but I think that one major area that we also need to work around has to do with receivables. And the reason that receivables is important for me has to do with what I mentioned in terms of finance costs. All the receivables are not interest yielding. So it's our money that is being held by somebody else. Meanwhile, we have borrowed money from the bank to be able to provide those services. So let's also look around what we can do to make receivable a better position. On a closing note, Mr. Chairman, it will be important that the company must make it a policy that if you want people to make very meaningful contribution, this annual account must get to shareholders early enough. I know one of the answers that you're also likely to give is to say, oh, we have sent electronic copy. I can confirm to you that electronic copy and this are usually not the same. Even when you send me an electronic copy, the pagination here and the pagination in electronic copy are never the same. So that itself will bring some challenge, and then that also will mean that contribution is not optimally delivered to the company, and by extension, the benefit that you also get will not be optimal. On that note, I want to thank you for the opportunity to speak. Thank you.
Hello? 1, 2. One.
Mr. Chairman, thank you for giving me a second chance. Mr. Chairman, I want to be very short and precise to the issue. And thank you, sir. We have seen part of what the last speaker spoke about, the receivable, which is doubled. Okay. Thank you. Majority agrees. You agree on this? Majority agrees. Thank you. Yeah, I want to also look at receivables, and I think for a better information, give us the life of the receivables month to month so that we understand whether the receivable was cut off by the end of the year account. That will give us a better understanding of what happened to the receivable, why it's higher by more than 100% than what it was. But having said that, my major problem is the future. Mr. Chairman, is it likely we are going to pay dividend next year? When we now look at your statement on page, let us go to the chairman's statement on page 11. Page 11 of the annual report is telling us very clearly that we lost a major contract. So my question there is that, thank you for being very truthful to the shareholders. But my question there is that, have we been able to win another contract that will help us to hedge the effect of this one that was reported here? And again, we lost an aeroplane, a helicopter. Mr. Chairman, my question there is that, have we recovered from insurance the insured sum on this? It's also very important for us to know whether we have recovered it. These are two very important questions. So I want to congratulate you, training outfit that joined us. I think this is the Indian company. That's on page 13 of the annual report. So let us know more about an agreement to house and operate AW109 simulator. I think I've seen that simulator, but let's see how it's really working. The MD conducted some of us through this simulator, and I want to find out whether we're actually achieving any value from this simulator. The Indian company, OSS Air, what kind of service are they going to give us? Is it training our pilots or what? Or are they also going to facilitate contract for us? It is important so that I can understand whether my investment will give me profit and dividend next year. I thought Mr. Chairman is talking to me.
Go on, please.
No, I will await your response. But those are my three questions. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Hello.
Okay. After you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, Board of Directors, Regulatory Authorities here present, eminent shareholders, good morning, sir, ma. My name is Mrs. B.C. Bakari. I'm the National Coordinator of Pragmatic Shareholders Association of Nigeria.
They are bringing pilots for us to train. Yes, sir. Exactly.
First and foremost, Mr. Chairman, I want to congratulate you, Dr. Aderemi Makanjiola, OON, who was recently honored with the well-deserved national honor of Officer of the Order of the Niger by our former President, Buhari. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
Secondly, Mr. Chairman, much has been said by the earlier speakers concerning the financial result at a glance, which is not looking good. But I believe that by God's grace, coming next year, we will celebrate Caverton. Page 12. Mr. Chairman, in May 2022, Chevron withdrew their contract from Caverton. I think that is constituted with the loss we are having. It's part of it. So I want to ask from this board that what was their reason for the contract they withdraw from us? Is there any reason for it? We would like to know. Again, on page 17, our company received award for Best Multinational Service Provider with the most impactful contribution to local content development in Nigeria. I say big congratulations to the entire board, management, and staff of Caverton PLC. Page 22. Okay, Mr. Nona will talk about that. That is the date of we elected our directors are not inclusive. Secondly, on the same page, I observed that we have only one independent director. I want this board to look at it because for good corporate governance, I think we must have minimum of 3 independent directors. So we should look at it so that our regulators will not penalize us for that. Again, on page 28, I want to really commend this board. I mean our directors. Because looking at page 28, I noticed that all our directors have shares of our company. That shows we believe in this company and you have trust on what you are doing. Thank you very much. Page 30, charitable contributions and donations. Mr. Chairman, I want our board to look at our donation policy. Looking at our donations, I observed that out of 12.873 million we donated, 10 million was given to only one foundation, where Ibiba Sakasri, I can't pronounce it very well anyway. 10 million went to them. That means out of over 12 million, 10 million went to them. So 2.873 million is just for others. So I want us to look at this very well. Board attendance, this is very good. 95% attendance, but we want a situation whereby our attendance will be 100% going forward. Trade receivable, they've talked about that. Page 81, administrative expenses. Mr. Chairman, I want the board to look at our administrative expenses. Our administrative expenses moved from 4.761 billion to 5.120 billion. This is on the high side. I want the management to look at that, especially our legal and professional fees, entertainment, audit fee, general office expenses. So I want the board to look at it. Lastly, borrowings. That's on page 97, our borrowings. I want this board to look at our borrowings very well, so that it won't be as if we are really working for the bank. Once again, thank you very much for the opportunity given to me.
Thank you, our amiable chairman. My name is Tunji Bamidele. I'm a national coordinator of Starlight Shareholder Offshore of Nigeria, all the way from Oyo State. Permitting my chairman, I need to be brief, but I most sincerely appreciate the chairman for transparency. I sincerely appreciate the chairman and the board, because your comment in the beginning of this day show a lot of transparency. As a father, we can rely on you much. We really appreciate you. I have two observations, my chairman.
My observation is on a risk exposure. The company face a lot of risk. Generally, business face a lot of risk. But the risk exposure we need to look at it very well, because a lot of things go on that we are not expecting, and we'll be able to proactive to plan for it in future. And vis-a-vis, I want us to have a robust board risk policy that can be able to foresee much of the things that come on. Secondly, page 115, we talk of sustainability on the industry. And sustainability, we give us different picture of what's going on in industry, even before the incident and after the level of we are moving. Now, we are looking at area of sustainability and return on investment, in line with what Sasani also said. Return on investment based on two ways, whether on a dividend or share capital. We are looking at it, what are you putting in place for us to move to the next chairman. And area of corporate governance, sincerely, all board members are doing a very wonderful, very wonderful, because you are attend all meetings as scheduled, which means total commitment. And all the management team, we started doing, we can say we appreciate them, because it's not an easy job, but we expect return in future. We are ready to give all necessary support in any area. Thank you. God bless you.
I thank all, I thank members for their forthrightness and the questions. Yes, we are progressing. Please. We of foreign investors coming in now. We hope to take the advantage of that. We have already, with all that you have done since we started, we have already really met all the world-class standards. And so you can be rest assured that when the time comes, and we are going around to make sure that the time is right, we'll do our best. We have in as well so we will get in more investors as time goes on to see what can be done and done in a better way for all of us. Well, the issue of dividend, we will do we will ensure that from next year or from now on, we will have a investors relation officer who will be working with the company secretary to ensure that issue of dividend that have not been paid, because the dividend is not with us and we are not the one benefiting from it. So we will make sure that there's somebody going after that to ensure that that is done. On the issue of the Indian coming for training, they came for training. They will be coming for training. They have nothing to do with us. We have other, for security reasons, that we cannot say, that we are getting involved with now, and we are helping to train them as well. We have already got one simulator. There's another simulator coming in very soon. In terms of the foreign finance that was mentioned, we are in Cameroon, and we lost an aircraft there. The aircrafts, we've been able to get back the money from the insurance, and we are getting another one soon. But they've already now given us another contract in helicopter. The one we had before was on fixed wing, which is the Twin Otter. But this one is on helicopter 429. It will be arriving, and you can't expect them not to go. In a situation where we are paying them $5,000 for an officer, Saudi Arabia is ready to pay $15,000 for that officer. The same thing with the captains, but you can be rest assured that there is a law of diminishing returns. As time goes on, they will be coming back. And what the Nigerian is gaining now is that the foreign exchange they are making, they are bringing them home. But at the same time, we are losing our good people to them outside. But as soon as possible, things will start changing. What matters is good government. And you can see what the new government have done within 2-3 weeks. We hope they can continue so that things will be better for all of us in that respect. Buddy, do you want to answer some questions? Go ahead in terms of the new projects.
Okay. I think I'll take over from my chairman in terms of trying to answer some of these questions, my distinguished shareholders. The issue on funding has been well noted, and as the chairman has said, we are actually, being a listed company, we're actually looking at avenues of tapping our goodwill in the stock market. Obviously, with the new dispensation now, we're seeing with the unification of the foreign exchange rate, there is now more of an opportunity in trying to attract more investors into our sector. But more importantly, one of the things, and I know you noted importantly about the loss of the Chevron contract. Unfortunately, it was a mixed bag of things. There was a situation where one of the aircraft was not required anymore. And whilst we did go back to Chevron in terms of the how do I put it, whether or not it was done properly or not, we actually landed in an amicable situation. But what that taught us is that we can't, as a company, rely on a single source of income in terms of our contracts. Up until last year, 90% of our business was centered around the oil and gas sector. Obviously, things are picking up now with the war in Ukraine. We're seeing good profits in the sector and a lot of business coming up. But just last year and 2 years ago, in the midst of the crash and the cancellation of the contract, business had actually dwindled. What we've now done on the aviation side is to diversify our business into training and maintenance. One of what we've seen is that we're getting a lot of interest because your company is the only organization that has facilities of this standard in this part of the world. We now, I think I can comfortably say we are maintaining aircraft for neighboring countries. We'll be reaching out to other West African countries like Benin, Ghana, and the likes, as well as Cameroon. And as the chairman also mentioned, we are going as far afield to attract people from India and other parts of Africa to come to Nigeria for training. One of the things we've been able to do in terms of saving money for your company is to ensure that the recurrency training of all your pilots is done locally now. So we're having to spend the forex to send pilots abroad for training. One of the more important things I know you'd have observed is that our marine business has not been faring too well of late, but I'm happy to say that we embarked on a project in partnership with the Lagos State government to address water transportation in Lagos. We successfully have built the first 40-seater water ferry, water bus, which hopefully will come into operations by the end of the year. It is hoped that this project will not only bring better fortunes for your company, but also ensure that traffic situation in Lagos is alleviated. I know one of our older shareholders mentioned about the traffic situation. It is hoped that once we get more people on water, that we can address this situation. I should also point out that these boats are being built to world standards, so they will have Bureau Veritas verification, which means there is an open business for us to actually export our boats to other parts of the country, other parts of West Africa as well. I think the chairman had already talked about the Cameroon crash and the loss of, I know someone mentioned about the loss of income in Cameroon. Unfortunately, that was a very sad episode for Caverton. The IAB has since declared, as you all know, the cause of the accident, and since then, our Cameroon counterpart has seen fit to award Caverton a new contract for 429 starting in July. We are exploring restarting the fixed wing business, and we'll be communicating that to you soonest. I'd just like to say I thank you for all your patience and understanding, especially in these trying times. It's now that we don't have dividends to pay. I know it's the festive period, but I can assure you that with our plans for diversification, plans to find a new funding strategy for our business, we will be paying dividends as of next year. Thank you very much.
Thank you, buddy. And furthermore to what he has mentioned to you in terms of the boats, we are actually not even using borrowing money to build the boats. What we've done is to do a lot of financial engineering and make sure that the boats are paid for while they are being built. And by the time they finish being built, between the bank and the government, everything is sorted out without any interest being incurred by us. So that will help our finances and all that. And you can see that there are lots of mishaps over boats, floods and boats and all the rest of that in the whole country. As time goes on, we want to do more in making sure that we build more boats, because our boats are world-class standard, inspected by Bureau Veritas and sanctioned. So, yeah, they are. So that everybody will be safe and there will be less flood. The microphone and commence by stating your name in full. I now invite the registrar to explain the voting process.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Esteemed shareholders, please be informed that we have captured the total number of 65 shareholders, voting details received by proxy, and holding 2,076,238,362 units, representing 61.97% of the issued share capital.
Board meetings during the period under review is available for inspection in accordance with Section 2582 of the Companies Allied Matters Act, CAB C20 LFN 2004. Company Secretary raise their hands. The next item on the agenda is the re-election of directors retiring by rotation. As I am one of the directors presented for re-election at the meeting, permit me to invite
of the Companies and Allied Matters Act and the Articles of Association of the company, Mr. Aderemi Makonjola, Madam Bello Gwando, and Mr. Shola Falola are the directors retiring by rotation at this meeting and being eligible offer themselves for re-election. So to save time, I would suggest that the directors be re-elected
by a single resolution. For this to be possible, will require the unanimous votes of every shareholder present. A single vote against this motion for a single resolution is enough to defeat it. Will shareholders would someone move?
Chairman, my name is Okezie Boniface. Mr. Chairman, the point of order is this. We have been given a device and to vote on these items we are considering. So it is better we do it one by one, since it's going to be voting. If by show of hand, we don't need, then we can take a single resolution. But since the registrar are going to conduct this affair of the agendas.
The motion to a vote and call on the registrars to conduct the voting process.
Thank you, Chief Raymond. The voting period shall last 40 seconds. The voting period has now commenced.
What do we press?
Please press your keyboard in accordance with your choice.
Amaka, what do we press?
What?
Kindly press your keypads in accordance with your choice. The voting is still going on. "30 seconds left.
Is the result out?
Kindly press your keypads with your vote. We have 10 seconds left. 5 seconds left. The voting has now ended. We have 152 shareholders who have voted in favor of the resolution, 4 against the resolution, and 3 abstain. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Following the results of the voting, as announced by the registrar, I hereby declare that the resolution to re-elect Mr. Aderemi Makanjola as the director of the company has been passed.
Thank you for the opportunity. It's a good. I hereby move.
Will another shareholder please rise and second the motion?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Pastor Olagoke Samson Olusegun. I second that motion.
Thank you. I now put the motion to a vote and call on the registrars to conduct the voting process.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The voting period shall last 40 seconds. The voting has now commenced. Kindly press your keypad in accordance with your choice. We have 30 seconds left. Kindly press your keypad, please. We have 20 seconds left. We have 10 seconds left. Please press your keypad in accordance with your voting choice. The voting has now ended. Thank you. We have a total number of 156 shareholders who voted in favor of the resolution, 3 against the resolution, and 1 abstain. Thank you.
Following the results of the voting as announced by the registrar, I hereby declare that the resolution to re-elect Malam Bello Gwando as the director of the company has been passed. Re-election of Mr. Shola Falola. Will a shareholder kindly move that Mr. Shola Falola be and is hereby re-elected as director of the company?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Eke Chibuzo Emmanuel. Thank you. I second the motion.
No.
Okay, I move the motion. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Will somebody move the motion?
Thank you, Chairman. So, Kele Yadenike Elizabeth, I second the motion.
Thank you. I now put the motion to a vote and call on the registrars to conduct the voting process.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The voting period shall last for 40 seconds. The voting has now commenced. Kindly press your keypads in accordance with your voting choice. We have 30 seconds left. Kindly press your keypads, please. We have 20 seconds left. We have 10 seconds left. Kindly press your keypad in accordance with your voting choice. Voting has now ended. We have a total number of 150 shareholders who voted in favor of the resolution, 5 voted against the resolution, and 2 abstained. Thank you.
Following the results of the voting as announced by the registrar, I hereby declare that the resolution to re-elect Mr. Shola Falola as a director of the company has been passed. The next item on the agenda is to authorize directors to fix the remuneration of auditors for the 2023 financial year. Are there any questions before the motion is put to the meeting? Since there are no further questions, we shall proceed.
Additional, I so do. All the way from
Will another shareholder please be...
Mr. Chairman, my name is Brigadier General Dayo Adeshogun, retired. I second the motion.
Thank you. I now put the motion to a vote and call on the registrar to conduct the voting process.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The voting period shall last for 40 seconds. The voting has now commenced. Please press your keypad in accordance with your voting choice.
Morning. You can go ahead on the 2. Thank you. Thanks.
We have 30 seconds left. Kindly press your keypads with your choice, your voting choice. We have 10 seconds left. The voting period has now ended. Thank you. We have a total number of 151 shareholders who have voted in favor of the resolution. 4 shareholders voted against and 2 abstained from the resolution. Thank you.
Following the result of the voting as announced by the registrar, I hereby declare that the resolution to authorize directors to fix the remuneration of auditors for the year 2023 financial year is carried. The next on the agenda is the disclosure of the remuneration of managers of the company. Section 257 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020 provides that the compensation for managers shall be disclosed to members at the annual general meeting. Accordingly, I hereby disclose that this item has been provided for on page 101 of the annual general report. The next item on the agenda is the election of members of the Audit Committee. Section 359.4 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act, CAMA, Cap C20, LFN 2004, provides that a maximum of 5 members of the Audit Committee, consisting of 2 directors and 3 representatives of the shareholders, be elected at an annual general meeting. The Act further provides that in the case of election of the shareholders' representatives, nominations shall be received not later than 21 days before the date of the meeting. The Board of Directors have nominated the following 2 directors for election as members of the Audit Committee, Mr. Akin Kekereekun and Chief Raymond Ihembe. Since there are 3 valid nominations as required by law, will a shareholder kindly move that Akim Shagaya, Tola Atekoja, and Friday Adigbo Ejere be and hereby elected as members of the Audit Committee?
Thank you, my chairman. The name is Engineer Victor Enyinaya. I rise to second the motion. I move the motion.
Thank you. Will somebody second?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I, Honorable Balogun Oluwatoyin, seconded the motion. Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman, I seconded the motion. As a lady, yes, I seconded the motion. My names are Balogun Oluwatoyin, Honorable Balogun Oluwatoyin. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Would those in Mr. Akim Shagaya, Mr. Tola Atekoja, and Friday Adigbo be and are hereby elected as members of the Audit.
I want to second that motion. Okay, move.
Thank you. Will another shareholder rise?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The name is Martins Akim Abiola. I second the motion.
Thank you. I now call on the registrar to conduct the voting process.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The voting period shall last 40 seconds. The voting has now commenced. Kindly press your keypads in accordance with your voting decision. Kindly press your keypads. We have 30 seconds left. We have 20 seconds left.
In accordance with the rules of the Nigerian Stock Exchange Limited governing transactions with related parties. Are there any questions before the motion is put to question? Since there are no further questions, we shall proceed. Will a shareholder kindly move that directors
We have 30 seconds left. Kindly press your keypads. Voting is ongoing.
Following the result of the
We
voting,
have 20 seconds left. We have 8 seconds left. The voting period has now ended. We have
with related parties be approved and has been passed. The next item on the agenda also falls under special business, and it is that shareholders authorize and approve for the company to hold its general meetings electronically, and that memorandum of association of the company be amended accordingly in pursuant of the authorized shareholders' approval. I don't think they will approve that. This
Mr. Chairman, my question is this, Mr. Chairman. In view that you are calling for electronic general AGM, electronic meeting, I am saying that, are we going to discountenance of physical meeting with our board of directors in AGM like this?
No, we will not. We will be having those.
Okay, we're having both. Then the agenda should read that the annual general meeting we hold physically and electronically. That if you are not chance to be in general meeting, you can be at your home and join the meeting.
Yes, I agree with that.
Okay.
Yes.
So
as amended.
That means we should amend we should capture that the amendment goes thus, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, please, let's go ahead as amended.
Okay.
Yes, you might not come next year if you don't want.
I am moving the motion.
Home. Yes.
That, please. I am moving the motion that the annual general meeting will be held physically, electronically, as amended.
Yes.
I so move, Mr. Boniface Okezie.
Yeah.
With that motion.
Yeah.
Hello.
I second that motion.
Thank you.
My name is Zalaja Sarata Yabode Balogun.
Thank you. Since there are no further questions, we shall proceed. I now put the motion to a vote and call for the registrar to conduct the voting process.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Shareholders, voting period has commenced. The voting period is ongoing. Kindly press your keypads.
Mr. Chairman, sir.
The voting period is ongoing.
Mr. Chairman, sir. Let us talk from experience.
The voting is ongoing. Kindly press your keypads in accordance with your voting decisions. We have 30 seconds left. Voting is ongoing. The voting is ongoing. Kindly press your keypads to cast your votes. We have 10 seconds left. 5 seconds left. The voting period has now ended. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, sir.
We have a total number of 71 shareholders who voted in favor of the
previous AGM that was
Thank
done
you.
virtually. It is useless with the network problem. It's useless.
Noted, but the voting has already gone through. Accordingly, in pursuant to the shareholders authorized for attending this meeting and showing so much interest in your company's affairs. Thank you.
Thank you very much, our chairman. A round of applause, our chairman. National anthem. May we be upstanding for the national anthem. The national anthem, please. Thank you very much. We have an announcement. May we be seated? Announcement. Let's be seated to take the announcement, please. Seated. Now, the feeding will allow the chairman and board members to please proceed from